You're watching ABC7 News at 6.
Hello and welcome. I'm Scott Dennis.
And I'm Jacqueline Matter. Thanks for joining us. Topping our news this hour, Governor Rick Scott says he wants a law enforcement officer inside every public school by next school year.
And now one of our local law enforcement leaders is explaining why that will not be so easy. Public middle schools and high schools in Sarasota and Manatee counties currently have at least one school resource officer, but most elementary schools do not. Sarasota police have full-time officers at 3 schools who Police Chief Bernadette DePino says are handpicked after a couple years on patrol. These officers are often asked to provide counseling, mitigate fights, and serve as role models for students. Even with funding, Chief DePino says hiring a new officer can take approximately 18 months.
Support, I think it's a good idea. We put officers at sporting events. I know we want to protect our kids, but we also have to be realistic and know that I don't have 20 officers that I could take right now, send them to the specialized training, and get into the schools in a really quick period of time.
DePino estimates her department would have to hire 20 additional officers to meet the school security standards laid out in the governor's action plan.
Meanwhile, a 14-year-old teen has been charged for making threats against Bayshore High School. The Manatee County Sheriff's Office says that the threats were made last Friday on social media. The school went into lockdown as a result of that threat. Extra deputies have remained on campus ever since. Charges were officially filed today, and an investigation continues.
Carlo Mooney High School will be back open tomorrow after a threat closed the campus today. Parents were notified late last night that the school would be closed Monday. Sarasota police are investigating the Snapchat post that was shared over the weekend. In that post, a student threatened to shoot up the school, specifically kids in that student's grade and upperclassmen. Investigators say they have no reason to believe there is a threat to the school at this time. Time is ticking. There are only 11 days left in the current state legislative session, which means time is running out for lawmakers to address school safety and gun reform. Lawmakers
are also tasked with passing a state budget. ABC7's Jess Dowdrick joins us to explain what other issues, if any, will be tackled this session. Jess?
Jacqueline, Scott, right now addressing school safety and gun reform are the priorities for lawmakers, but they say that doesn't mean other agenda items will stop. Right now there are 3 different versions of bills addressing school safety and gun reform, one in the House, one in the Senate, and one proposed by Governor Rick Scott. Lawmakers will have to merge those bills and come up with one that will pass all 3 branches. As the bill stands now, it's likely that the issues will drastically change the state budget that was originally proposed. Governor Scott proposing $400 million in school security and $50 million in mental health funding. While those issues are the priority right now, other issues are still being addressed, like education, gaming, and possibly daylight savings time.
This is the #1 priority. This is the moment that we can really make something happen and really affect positive change for Floridians. And this is what I want to stay focused on throughout the rest of the session.
I'm not saying yes, it's going to trump everything. It's not.
Okay.
It's not. We're still working on the education pieces. Gaming is still in play. They're going to move it in the House. And so all it means is that we're working around the clock.
This session runs through March 9th. Representative Joe Gruder says it is a possibility that the session could be extended. Once this session ends, lawmakers aren't scheduled to meet again until late November, after election season. Scott.
All right, Jess, thanks so much. Time now to get a check on our weather with Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan. Bob, a great day for some baseball.
Yeah, great day for baseball and for the beaches as well. Temperatures not record-breaking, but still in the low 80s. Well above the average of 74 degrees, and this morning's low was 10 degrees above normal. Right now it's 75 pleasant degrees at the Sarasota-Bradenton Airport. We have fair skies, and the dew point's still pretty high at 70 with a west-southwest wind, and the pressure is rising slightly again, but that high-pressure ridge has been bounced off a little bit. It's a little bit further off into the Atlantic now. With that in mind, looks like we'll be weakening this high-pressure ridge, and that will allow more fronts to start to move in. This one's not going to have much of a chance of doing much. We will see slightly cooler temperatures over the panhandle of Florida, but for us, it will fade before it reaches us. This is the same storm system which brought the nasty weather and severe weather from Texas all the way up into the Ohio Valley over the weekend. And as far as the rainfall goes, you can see we're getting some rain along I-75 up near Gainesville, but that line of intense showers that was around earlier today has now since weakened considerably, and behind it some cooler air. I mentioned bigger storms, though. You can see that kind of through Lake City there, approaching Gainesville and then weakening. That's going to be the case tonight as that front stays to our north. The evening planner Look for some fog to develop after midnight. Temperatures remaining warm at 11. It should be right around 69. More in your forecast coming up in a few.
Thank you so much, Bob. An 84-year-old Manatee County man on trial for murder is found guilty. The verdict came down this afternoon for Eugene Matthews. He's convicted in the shooting death of Rebecca Rawson. Matthews shot her when she came to his home to pick up a dog that belonged to her family. Sentencing will be done at a later date. Matthews faces up to life in prison for the second-degree murder of Rebecca Rawson and attempted murders of the passengers in the car with Rawson.
One person is flown to a local hospital following a crash in Venice. It happened around 2 o'clock this afternoon at the intersection of US 41 and Galleria Boulevard. A vehicle and a tractor trailer collided, causing heavy damage, closing portions of northbound 41. There's no word yet on what caused the crash or who is to blame.
Northport's Island Walk community is being tested by the Department of Health. The pool and spa area are closed down after several residents came down with Legionnaire's disease. The disease is spread when water goes airborne, for example, in a sauna. Doctors first noticed the disease when several people were admitted to Venice Regional Bayfront Health with pneumonia-like symptoms.
It's not contagious. I cannot emphasize it enough. You cannot give it from person to person. It's not a contagious disease at all.
Doctors say the symptoms range from coughing, weakness, and fever. The home management company says they are working with the health department to resolve this issue.
2 Anna Maria Island city employees who were fired for removing planks from the city pier now have their jobs back. Peter Peer and Taylor Manhart are back with the city's Public Works Department after losing their jobs. The 2 workers removed 2 sponsored planks at the hurricane-damaged Anna Maria City Pier. The planks were purchased by people to remember loved ones. Many island residents submitted a petition to get the 2 their jobs back, and it worked. Still to come in your Suncoast News tonight, it's usually your biggest monthly expense, but how often have you ever tried to negotiate the cost of your rent? We'll show you some bargaining tips coming up.
And some funny money found along a Northport roadway had motorists braking for a buck. Why police are now concerned.
You now have the power to prioritize your Facebook feed and get local news and information from the team you trust. Go to the ABC7 Sarasota page on Facebook. Give us a like, then click following and choose See First. That's it. Customize even more by choosing notifications. Choose breaking news, posts, live videos, anything you want to see in real time. Take control of your newsfeed and stay connected to what's happening in your community with ABC7 on Facebook.
Our overall experience working with California Closets was phenomenal.
Calm, reassuring.
Through happenstance, we ended up paired with our designer, Jen. She was someone who not only was patient, someone who was professional. She's become extended family.
She had great insight to help direct me towards those things that could make our dreams come true.
We are the Greens, and this is our California Closet story.
Attention, Americans eligible for Medicare. Are you getting all the benefits you're entitled to? Did you know there may be money available to lower your medical prescription costs? Call Health Markets and we'll tell you if you qualify.
Hi, I'm Dr. Martin Jeetsi. It's a new Medicare year. That means more changes and more confusion. The key question is, what can you do now to ensure you get the care you need in the coming year?
Call Health Markets today. You may qualify to save money on prescriptions. We'll help you find plans that may cost less, cover more, and could even lower your prescription costs to increase your savings. We help you find all the benefits you're entitled to, and we do it at no cost.
Make sure you have what you need to get the care that's right for you.
Find out if you qualify to receive extra help with your prescriptions. Call the number on the screen now. Representatives are standing by.
Today, everyone is looking for more fashionable choices in flooring than ever before. And G. Fried has responded with a huge selection of carpets, tile, wood, laminate, and vinyl. Installed by a highly skilled team, G. Fried has got everything you're looking for and more. The next time you think about quality flooring, think G. Fried Flooring America. G. Fried Flooring America. Our world is at your feet.
Thousands of award-winning Honda Civics are on sale for $169 a month during the Honda President's Day sales event. You made Civic the best-selling compact car in America. Drive one today for just $169 a month, or save thousands on your Civic with 0.9% financing. Civic, a KBB.com Best Buy for less than the competition. Only $169 a month or 0.9% this week at your local Honda dealer.
Honda, I like it. Oh yeah, I like it.
It was raining money along a street in Northport this morning, sort of. Northport police got word that drivers were stopping their vehicles to pick up the loose loot on Appomattox Drive. The only problem was the money was fake. The $100 bills looked real enough, except for the message on the back of the bill reading, motion picture use only. Northport police notifying now the public so local businesses can watch out to make sure no one tries to spend that funny money.
Well, January proved to be a record-breaking month for new real estate listings on the Sun Coast. According to Sarasota County, listings have jumped by 5% over the last year at this time. And according to Manatee County, home prices have increased more than 7%. January is typically a good month for home sales because of the influx of snowbirds. According to the Realtor Association of Sarasota and Manatee, the increase in home sales and prices is a good indicator of a strong housing market, and it's expected to continue to grow.
Well, when it comes to making a deal, we often negotiate the price of a new car or the salary at our job. But how often have you tried ever to negotiate the price of your monthly rent?
ABC7's Stephanie Webb did some digging and found a few ways to do just that.
Whether it's a house, condo, or apartment, your rent payment is usually the biggest expense of the month. So why don't we negotiate that price more often?
Well, you always think about negotiating when you're going to buy a house, right? And it's this long-term purchase. But when you're thinking about renting, you see a price and you think it's set in stone.
But it's not, and it's time to make a deal.
There's a price that's listed, but then there's the desire of a landlord to have all of those units filled. So really, you have the upper hand sometimes when you're looking for a place that you can rent.
First, do your homework on your desired area.
When it comes to negotiating rent, you definitely need to do your market research before you have a conversation with a landlord. So check Craigslist, check apartment listings around your area to know what that market rate is.
Next, negotiation starts with you. It's time to sell yourself. It gives a landlord some incentive to want you as their new resident.
Maybe you have a regular income as a freelancer. It helps to bring some tax returns. Whether it might be references from past landlords, make sure you're on good terms with those before you look for a new place. And anything that's going to prove that you're a responsible adult, you're ready to pay the rent, and you're excited to be there, it's all going to work in your favor.
Next, take a look around the rentals. Are you willing to settle for a little less?
Think about things like older appliances, paint that might need to be replaced, or maybe there's if you have older windows or older features in the home. You know, it costs a lot for a landlord to replace those things, but if they know they're going to have someone in that unit for a year or 2 years, it gives them a little bit more time to think about doing those upgrades.
Sometimes you can negotiate lower rent by simply offering to help out. Can you make minor repairs? Can you offer some after-hours emergency help, or even help spruce up your rental?
If you're renting a house, it might be yard work, and just simply volunteering to keep up with that yard work, it brings down the cost for the landlord. It also shows that you're willing to do a little bit extra to make sure that property looks great, and a proud renter is one that a landlord's gonna love.
Stephanie Webb for ABC7, your Suncoast News.
Well, one last tip, try and negotiate a longer rental term, 18 or 24 months instead of just a year. Then you can score some extra money off, and the landlord also has a paying tenant for a longer term. Definitely a win-win for both in that scenario.
That makes sense. Yeah, definitely. Stay with us. Bob's up next with the first alert weather forecast for the upcoming work week. Stay with us.
Motor Trend said the new Alfa Romeo Giulia is hands down the best sports sedan you can buy today, and named it the 2018 Motor Trend Car of the Year. Rediscover your passion for driving at Sunset Alfa Romeo of Sarasota.
I owed the IRS $10,000.
I owed the IRS $20,000.
The IRS garnished my wages.
They put a lien on my house.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world. They do not give up until you pay.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
Tax Solutions Now can get you help. Our agents know the rules, can stop the pain, and get you the best deal.
We saved our home and overcame the most powerful collection agency in the world.
We connect you with a team of former IRS agents and tax professionals who get the IRS off your back. Time is running out. Call Tax Solutions now.
Call 1-800-565-7740. That's 1-800-565-7740.
Hi, I'm Chef Bob. Watch Aprons in the Kitchen every Wednesday morning on ABC7, where we'll be serving up the most awesome dishes. Then stop by your neighborhood Publix, pick up the recipe card and all the ingredients.
Loaded with big laughs, colorful characters, and the songs that made the 20s roar, Bullets Over Broadway is bringing musical theater back with a bang. Your attendance is requested at the Players Center for this wild Broadway musical opening February 21st. Call the Players at 365-2494 or visit the website at theplayers.org. This is one Broadway show that is sure to knock 'em dead.
Tickets are going fast for My Hometown Fest, Saturday, March 3rd from noon to 5 at Nathan Benderson Park. Enjoy foods from 40 area restaurants, 40-plus craft beers, live music, and lots of fun. Get your tickets today at myhometownfest.org.
Check out My Suncoast Dining on mysuncoast.com for Chef Judy's favorite recipes, cooking tips and trends, dining blogs, step-by-step videos, and Suncoast Restaurant Guide. You'll find it all at mysuncoast.com/dining.
When evaluating the Alfa Romeo Stelvio, Car and Driver magazine said every crossover should be this good to drive. We agree. Rediscover your passion for driving at Alfa Romeo of Sarasota.
We are sticking with the warm weather for at least a while longer.
For a little while, yeah. Not the extreme, though, we saw last week when 90-degree temperatures were around upper 80s. Low 80s, not too bad. Beautiful day at the ballpark today. Ed Smith had a chance to get out there, and lots of sunshine and high cirrus clouds moving through. Here's Cindy Desmond's shot of some cirrus clouds, some jet contrails, if you will, and some colder air out ahead of it. There I am with Norm. Norm got me some tickets. Norm Schimmel at the O's game there, and he took a photo of. I got able to be right there in the middle of the O before the game started, and Chief DePino of the Sarasota Police Department was on hand too. Throwing out the first pitch. She did a great job. Barb Wilson also confirming some cirrus clouds down in Venice today. So lots of sunshine, beautiful weather. A sea breeze developed just in time around the third inning and kept things a bit cooler. And I believe the O's won. Now the Casey Key webcam showing calm conditions out there in the waters right now. Boating conditions looking pretty good. Should be a gorgeous sunset. And it looks as though we will see some cooler air slide in, but that won't happen until the end of this work week. Right now, that frontal system and storm system, which brought all that nasty weather across the Texas, all the way up through the Ohio Valley over the weekend, producing tornadoes and also flooding problems, that is now shifted to the east. And however, there's another storm system on the horizon here in the next couple of days, which will cause more problems for the Ohio Valley. Here's the front. It's making its way down across north central Florida, but it's losing its strength and will eventually fade away just to the north and west. There are some showers well offshore of Pinellas and Hillsborough County. The watches and warnings for flooding continue, though, from Texas all the way up into Michigan. You see some flooding going on along the rivers and streams there. Current conditions, 75. It's nice out there again. The dew point pretty high for this time, and the pressure 30 at 19. That continues to rise at this hour, although weaker than last week. 81 degrees the high. That was a few degrees shy of the record, 87 degrees. And I don't think we'll see any records for Tuesday and Wednesday, but it'll still be above average. Our average high is 75. That's our current temp, 77 into Miami right now. And temperatures right along the coastline, Cortez at 72, 73 in Inglewood. The Gulf water temperature extremely warm, 77 degrees, 78 in Mayaca City, 81 in Wauchula, and 81 in Arcadia. The planner for Tuesday looks good. Once again, 75 by noon and then 80s by 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. With just a few clouds around. One thing we may see is some fog forming overnight, late tonight, tomorrow morning. But you'll notice what happens. That front, for the most part, moves southward, but it loses any kind of significant impact. And then we'll see a return to that east wind temporarily. on Tuesday and Wednesday, but then by Friday, those winds switch around to a northwesterly direction as this storm system starts to get its act together to the northwest of us. Now, as far as the rest of the U.S. is concerned, a storm system gathering out to the west of us, and the future European model showing that front falling apart. And then eventually, again, we see that front moving off to the southeast and some snow falling off toward the Ohio Valley. Now, as far as we're concerned, we are looking for the chance for a few showers with the front moving through on in through, it looks like, late Thursday night and Friday. Temperatures currently into the mid-30s across the northern plain states, and for boaters, tomorrow looks good. Seas running less than 2 feet out there with a light chop in the bays and inland waters. And as far as the 7-day forecast goes, we are looking at beautiful weather right through the period. 81 on Thursday, slight chance for a shower or two come early Friday morning as the front works through. Mid-70s for the Oscars. It looks good. Oscar award-winning day. 75 for a high on Sunday. Lots of sunshine. And you can watch the Oscars right here on ABC7 at 8 o'clock. By the way, the Orioles did win, Scott tells me, 8-6. They lost 8-6. Well, I'm saying they're winning. No, I'm just kidding. Linda, back.
Coming up, we'll introduce you to an amazing Suncoast woman, at least for today.
Tonight, the pressure is on in the Russia probe. After Rick Gates' new guilty plea, what's the Mueller team's next move? And after calls to arm some school teachers, will President Trump change America's gun laws? World News tonight with David Muir, America's most watched newscast.
So Matt told me to meet him at 7 a.m. sharp right here. It is now 7:01 a.m. You think Matt will leave without me? Hey, is Matt here?
Long gone.
Long gone.
Just missed him.
Just missed him.
All done.
Mr. Sparky guarantees they're on time and the repair is free, so chop chop.
Call 888-8-SPARKY.
Matt, you started without me.
I finished without you, too.
If you've never truly loved your car, you've clearly never owned a Subaru. Subaru is Kelley Blue Book's 2017 most trusted brand, best overall brand, and lowest 5-year cost to own. And Subaru Impreza is an IIHS top safety pick for 11 years running. Lease the all-new 2018 Subaru Impreza for just $195 a month for 42 months with zero due at signing. That's right, not one penny. Get more for your money during the Subaru True Love event at Sunset Subaru in Sarasota.
My California Closets designer is a rock star. She was able to design the most beautiful space for me. When I turn the lights on, it's breathtaking. La! It's just a little slice of organized heaven. The California Closet team was so professional, so reliable. It was seriously a dream come true. My name is Jill, and this is my California Closet story.
So I kind of grew up all across the country. I come from 5 generations of military men. My dad is still active duty. My grandpa is retired Marines. I like going for runs with my dog. I love, taking her out to the dog beach over in Venice. There are so many things here to do on the Suncoast. My goal every day when I come into work at ABC7 is to tell your stories, give you that major local news and those details that you really care about. I'm Jacqueline Matter, and I'm here for you.
My first job was in sports, and I was so thrilled just to be working in this business. I simply love covering this area. It has been my home for more than 40 years, and now it's wonderful that I can raise my family here as well. I'm Scott Dennis, and I'm here for you. One of the most respected national news anchors in the country spoke in Sarasota today.
ABC7's Linda Carson and PBS anchor Judy Woodruff started their careers together. They reminisced today about Judy's journey to the top.
What a thrill for me when Judy Woodruff, anchor and managing editor of the PBS NewsHour, spoke to the Junior League of Sarasota at their annual Legacy Luncheon. I was doing the weather and reporting news at WQXI in Atlanta when Judy came looking for her first reporting job.
And it was the station where you were working. You were then Linda Fay, and the news director, a man named Bill Conover, sat me down and asked me, what did I want to do? And I said, I want to be a reporter, but I'm prepared to start. I'll do anything. I'll clean the film, because in that time we used film. I said, I'll empty the trash.
He hired her as a secretary.
I told them that I eventually wanted to report, and I remember, they looked at me and they said, but wait a minute, we already have a woman reporter, Linda. And so it was as if there could only be one.
She tells how she was soon offered a reporting job at the CBS station, then set her sights on national news. At first she was turned down because of her Southern accent.
And then NBC called me right back a week later and said, we just fired our correspondent in Atlanta in the southeastern region. Can you quickly send us another application, another audition tape? And I did that, and they hired me.
She often reported on Jimmy Carter as governor of Georgia.
And then after he was nominated and elected, I lobbied to go to Washington, and they sent me to Washington to cover his presidency. So that was my break. I became the White House reporter for NBC News.
9 years later,
along came this program called the McNeil-Lehrer Report that was expanding on PBS to a whole hour.
She became their chief Washington reporter. She has now been with PBS off and on for 21 years. Meanwhile, she has a very happy marriage.
We're about to celebrate our 38th wedding anniversary. Al Hunt, he's a columnist for Bloomberg View.
They have 3 children.
I've had a child with a disability, and that's been the heartache and heartbreak of my life.
And she still follows very strict rules of good journalism.
To make sure that what you're reporting is accurate, that it's balanced, that you're getting both sides of the story. That's incredibly important to us at the NewsHour, and that you're reflecting what the larger context.
After watching Judy Woodruff start off her career in Atlanta at the station I was working at 50 years ago, it was wonderful to hear her today promise the audience that she reports and anchors the news with PBS with truth, honesty, and without bias. Linda Carson, ABC7, your Suncoast News.
You know, between the two of them, I'm sure they have some wonderful stories to tell.
Well, Linda has so many stories. She's going to write a book one day, and it's going to be a bestseller.
I hope so.
Yeah, absolutely. Great reports too. I still catch those. We are looking at Woodruff. I'm speaking of.
Right. Yeah.
And we are looking at some nice weather for this evening. Looking really quite nice, and looks like we'll see temperatures in the low 80s for the next couple of days.
Beautiful sunset out tonight. Enjoy that. World News Tonight with David Muir is next.
We'll see you again at 11. Have a good night.